there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of JavaScript with Tiki. This is a little validation trick that you may want to employ. That's assuming, of course, you're using JavaScript ES6 specifications. So assuming that your engine is ES6, you can do this. I'm going to do this in the old form. Yes, because it's ES6, you can do the fat arrow or the lambda expression style of functions. But I'll do it in the old form, and then I'll do it again in the lambda expressions. So basically, it starts off with a function. Now, the idea here is how do you validate a parameter on a function, using JavaScript. So here I'm going to use this. Let's say I have a parameter on a function that requires validation. Let's say this is, I'm going to create a function here called parameter required, or param required for short. And it's a very simple thing. I'm gonna throw an error if there isn't one. And it's just gonna say, it's just an error parameter or param or parameter required. Simple as that. So this is gonna be our validation function right here. Then I can take another function. This is the actual function where it's gonna be doing some work. And let's say it's, it's called some function or so. There you go, something like that. And let's say this function has a parameter. And I want to make sure that this parameter actually is in place, because if somebody doesn't specify it, under normal circumstances, JavaScript does not provide an error. So I'm going to say, parameter required, and I'm going to call the function as a default value. So that means if the parameter is not required, it will automatically call that function. You can already see where this is going. So if there's no parameter, it'll call the function and the param required function, and that will throw an error. So let's see how it works. I'm gonna basically just do something very simple, like this function is just gonna console log, and it's just gonna say function called, and it's just going to output the parameter. How's that? Just as simple as that. So of course it can be anything. So there you go. And now let's go ahead and call the function. Now let's show you what happens if I call the function but provide no parameter. Let's see what happens over here. You can already tell what's going to happen. I'm going to call the function, but because there's no parameter, this is going to be the supplied default value. So therefore, it is going to call this function, and this function throws an error. Let's take a look at what happens. So I'm just going to run the program very simply. Node validation.js, and here we go. And as you can see, it actually throws an error, and you can see the error says parameter required, which is our error message right there. Okay, now I'm going to call this function again, and this time I am going to provide a parameter, whatever. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to run the function again. And as you can see, no issues whatsoever. So this is just a little simple trick you can use to validate your parameters. To, if a function parameter is required, you can do this little trick right here, and it'll help you track for errors and things like that. You can put this inside a try-catch statement and have fun that way. Oh, and I said since we're using ES6, you can easily change this into a fat arrow function specification. So we can actually just do something like this. So we'll make that a parameter, and we'll just do a fat arrow function, and ta-da! And all is good. And you can do the same thing down here if you'd like. We'll just do, dum-da-dum-da-dum-da-dum. We'll go ahead and do this. And we'll change that to this. And there you go. There, make it nice and neat for all you OCD folks. Okay, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you can do a simple parameter validation using JavaScript. Hope this was useful, and we'll see you in the next video.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe. Also, Check out the links below, and if you'd like me to cover something else, please leave a comment down below.